kindergarten families, and welcome to our last We Are Kindergarten Ready video in our series. Today we will be talking about social skills and how to best prepare your child for kindergarten in the area of working with others, managing their emotions, and some things called school skills. So today, during our time together, like I said, we'll be looking at the different social emotional skills that you can practice over the summer and in play dates and with cousins in order to have your child as prepared for kindergarten as possible. We'll also talk about what school skills are in relation to social skills. We're also going to look at the contents of your kit for this month, and then we'll just go over a few quick reminders. So, we are here today to talk about social emotional skills. And the research that's now coming out says that social emotional skills are a greater predictor of success later in life than necessarily math or reading skills. So social emotional skills is a huge focus in school right now, and especially in our younger grades like kindergarten. So for today's video and for the purposes of our discussion today, we broke social emotional skills kind of into two different categories. So the first category that we're going to talk about are things related to self-regulation. So self-regulation really just meaning recognizing the feelings that your child being able to recognize the feelings that they're having, and then being able to manage those emotions. And then we also are going to look at how they interact with others. So in being able to recognize emotions in their own self, that's really the first step, is for them to be able to recognize, hey, this feeling that I'm having, the word that describes this feeling I'm having is frustrated or anxious. So the easiest thing to help children acquire this skill is helping them label their emotions. So most children at this age are able to label emotions such as sad, happy, angry, which is a great beginning. But as children mature, we want to also be able to give them some greater range in the emotions that they're able to label themselves, because it helps the adult around them respond more appropriately. It helps us understand and offer suggestions or solutions that are more likely going to be able to help if they are able to give us a little bit more detail in the emotions that they're having. So for example, we might ask your child, how are you feeling? And for us, it would be better for a child to be able to say, I'm disappointed because such and such happened, instead of your child just being able to say sad. Because again, those little nuances in what they're feeling really helps the adults around them offer suggestions and solutions that are going to make more sense to your child. So again, when your child is experiencing an emotion, help them label that emotion. Oh, I see that your ice cream dropped on the floor. You seem really upset. You seem very disappointed. So you taking on that role of giving them the language to use, and the more we label for them, they start internalizing those words. And when their body starts feeling that way, they're able to go, oh yeah, that's what Dad said. Dad said that when I'm feeling like this, the word that describes that is frustrated. So again, label, because your child will start picking up those words and start using them themselves. And then we always like to link the emotion to why. Why are you feeling that way? Because in a classroom, if someone says, in a kindergarten classroom, I'm sad, but we don't know why. It could be, I am sad because a friend hurt my feelings. It could be, I'm sad because my toe hurts. So again, the more details your child is able to give an adult, around their emotion and why that emotion is occurring, the easier it is and the quicker that an adult can respond to your child, and the more comfort and the more confidence your child will have in being able to talk to adults about their feelings. One of the tools that we use in kindergarten and in elementary school is called the zones of regulation. It's actually a curriculum that helps children recognize their emotions that they're feeling, the emotions in others, and then how do we manage those emotions. So I just wanted to share with you really quick what is called an emotional check-in. So your child, when they go to kindergarten, after they learn kind of what the different zones are, your child might be asked every morning, hey, let's do a quick zone check-in. And your child might move their little clothespin with their name on it to an emotion as they walk into the classroom. And this is really helpful for teachers because as a teacher, we can then kind of glance at our class and kind of see how everyone's doing and to see how we might need to restructure our day so that we can support students. So when you are talking with your child, you can kind of use some of these words, and the color coding is the color coding we use in the elementary level, kindergarten levels. So when we are talking about really big emotions like I'm so angry, I'm so mad, we call that the red zone. That's when we really want to stop what we're doing because our emotions are so big that sometimes we make choices that are not okay because our emotions are so big. So if we're kind of in that red zone, we're very angry, very upset, we need to stop and we need to work with an adult to figure out a solution for the problem. The yellow zone is when we're feeling a little bit amped up. So it could be that we're amped up in a happy, excited way. We could be amped up because I'm starting to feel frustrated because I'm not understanding this assignment. And so I'm starting to get a little bit upset or I'm starting to feel a little confused. And so that's kind of the yellow zone, that kind of slightly elevated state. And we talk with our children about when we start to feel a little escalated, a little amped up. That's our body telling us that we need to start slowing down. We might need to start some regulation techniques like breathing. We might need to go take a drink of water just to allow our body a minute to process, allow our body a minute to kind of calm down and go back to what we call the green zone. And the green zone is completely regulated, meaning that your child is in a calm yet alert state and they're ready to learn. So we're always trying to help our children regulate their bodies and regulate their emotions with that kind of green zone in mind, because we know through the research that that's when children are most likely to learn. And then we have the blue zone, and that's when we are feeling sluggish. We might be feeling tired, and that could be for a numerous amount of reasons. So if we have a kiddo that's in the blue zone, we might need to give them something to eat to kind of increase their metabolism, or we might need to do a little bit of a wiggle break so that we get their bodies moving. So again, the zones of regulation is a tool that kindergarten teachers use to help us better understand how your child is feeling and what we can do to support them in the classroom. A really great just parent tip. There was a movie several years ago. I really don't know if it's called the Inside Out movie. Oh no. I just did a quick pause and double checked. It is the Inside Out movie. It was a movie that was released a couple years ago, and it's a really nice illustration for children to understand how their emotions kind of impact how they react and how they act with people around them based on the different emotion that's kind of controlling their brain. So I just wanted to give you a quick parent tip that is a great movie that you can watch with your kiddo that kind of does a really nice way of illustrating how our emotions inside our brain kind of affect the rest of how we interact with the people and the environment around us. So We are going to turn it over to Caitlin Morrell. She is a preschool teacher with the Bremerton School District, and she is going to talk to us about delayed gratification and what that means for your child in school and how you can practice that skill at home.
Hi, y'all. My name is Miss Morell, and today we are going to be talking about delayed gratification. Well, what does that mean? Delayed gratification is waiting for that thing that you want or want to do, doing an undesirable task before you get that reward. And there's a lot of us struggle with that. We want what we want now, and we don't want to wait for it or do something we don't want to do before getting that reward. And a lot of our kiddos kind of struggle with that. So there are ways that we can help them and prepare them for those situations where we might get some big emotions for wanting something right away, but we have to wait. You can play games like I Spy or Red Light, Green Light. You can use timers. So, okay, we're going to work on our homework or our chores for 5 minutes. And when the timer goes off, we can have a break, we can have a snack, we can do a desired task for X amount of minutes. And then we're going to go back to work or the undesired task for another 5 minutes. And kind of that back and forth, that give and take with the undesired task and the reward. There's also a strategy, the first then strategy. And so it's first we're going to clean up our toys and then we can go to the park. Or first we're going to do 4 problems of homework and then we can have a little break. It's really important to teach these skills to our kiddos because the ability of delayed gratification, the ability to use delayed gratification is essential to self-regulation and or self-control. If we've got some kiddos that are going to be at a new school or starting kindergarten next year, it's really helpful to get them used to their environment as much as possible, taking them to the playground during the summertime and letting them explore on the playground and all these fun new places that they'll be using soon. And practicing how to use the equipment properly. We're not going up the slide. We're not jumping off the top of the playground equipment. You can also join in and role play with them. Practice that, okay, I'm waiting for my turn, or using their words to be able to communicate. Oh, I'd like a turn. When you're done, can I have a turn? Because kids want to use they want to use certain areas right away, but sometimes that's not always possible with those popular areas of the playground, like the swings, the merry-go-round, or the slide. And so practicing that waiting until it's their turn is really important so they know what to do when they're in a situation like that and those big emotions come up, and they know how to communicate their wants or their needs to their peers. Delayed gratification is something that a lot of us struggle with, especially our kiddos. So learning how to navigate through that and use delayed gratification is really important. So we want to make sure that we're practicing that with them and teaching them that we don't always get what we want right away. Sometimes we need to wait. I hope this video was helpful in practicing delayed gratification.
Alrighty. And so, following delayed gratification, we wanted to talk about managing emotions. So, sometimes when children lose a game or they are not picked first in line, some of those aspects of delayed gratification, it can lead to big emotions. So, we have Molly Shannon Neal, who is the Dean of Social Emotional Learning at Armin-Jar. She is an expert in behavior, and she is going to talk to us a little bit about how to support your child over the summer and start giving them the tools they need to manage their emotions while they're at school.
Hi, my name is Molly Shannon Neal, and I am the Dean of Social Emotional Learning at Armin-Jar Elementary School, and I am so excited to get this opportunity to talk with you about getting ready for kindergarten, especially when it comes to social emotional things. Those managing emotions. The first thing I want to share with you is helping your child label emotions. You may already be doing this. My favorite way to do it is to show the child on my body what that emotion looks like. Oh my gosh, your eyebrows are up, your eyes are wide, and your mouth is open. Are you surprised? Your eyebrows are down, your eyes are closed, and your fists are clenched. Are you mad? Maybe you're frustrated. Giving those vocabulary words along with the visual helps your child begin to identify how their body feels and what their body looks like when they're feeling different emotions. That's the beginning of being able to manage those emotions. Expanding that vocabulary is a great idea as well. Happy, sad, and mad are where we start with toddlers. We add as we go: excited, frustrated, surprised, angry, all the other ones. And so adding vocabulary as you go also helps children grow their emotional vocabulary and their ability to manage their emotions. The next thing I'd like to talk to you about is those natural places where your child feels disappointment, frustration, or having to postpone something that they want. When we have kindergartners come, there are a lot of them. There are 18 to 20 kids, and there's times to do certain things. So children get used to our routines, but in the beginning, it is hard to be told no when you really want to continue to do something and it's time to change activities. You might have experienced this at your house, when it's time to go, when it's time to move or change. So getting some vocabulary around that and getting some structures around that, not being afraid of those times, but coaching your child through those times. I know you are disappointed. I can see it. Sometimes we feel sad when it's time to quit an activity. I know we will get a chance to do this again. I know that the next thing we're going to do is something that you might be interested in. Giving those vocabulary words and that idea that this is an ending for now, but it's not forever, those are great tools in helping children deal with that disappointment and that frustration around not getting to do exactly what they wanted to do. At our house, we call it accepting the no. And it's a challenge. There are lots of opportunities for it in our lives, and that's the vocabulary we've chosen to use. It's time to accept the no. And you get to be sad or frustrated, but the no still stands, and the no still stands. In addition, kindergarten will bring lots of new people into your child's life, both grown-ups and kids. And we explore lots of new places, both in the school and around the school building. So having that opportunity to go out and meet people and be with different kinds of people at a playground or an event, and helping your child cope with the idea of all these new, unexpected people. And that not everybody responds to them exactly the way you do. You are their patient, caring adult who can interpret all their signs. Peers are less able to interpret what other kids mean, and there's some opportunity to practice saying it again, asking a different way, telling a friend what you need instead of showing them instead of telling them. All those kinds of things that we help our young children do are opportunities for you this summer as you work to get ready to have your child start this new experience with all these new friends and all these new grown-ups who are going to just be so excited to meet your child. I am so excited that your family is starting this kindergarten journey and that you have the chance to focus on some of these small but really important social emotional skills.
Alrighty. So now that we've kind of talked about how your child can start practicing recognizing their emotions in themselves, we're also going to have them practice recognizing emotions in others. And the easiest way to do this over the summer is by watching movies and reading lots of books and talking about the characters that they're seeing in those movies or in those books, and using the clues from the pictures or, the screen to talk about, hey, what feeling do you think that they're having? Why do you think that? Tell me what you see on their face. What does their body look like? That is showing you that that's the feeling that they're having. So, for example, somebody might say, "Oh, that character is feeling angry," and I know they're feeling angry because their fists are clenched up at their sides and their eyes are very narrow. And so that's a way that we can help children start recognizing those little different body signals and those different facial cues that can help them understand how people are feeling around them. And then they can adjust, what they're doing or offer support to somebody because they are starting to recognize those emotions that other people are having. Another thing that is really helpful for students to be able to do when they enter kindergarten is being able to gain and maintain attention. So what gain and maintain attention means in this context is being able to reach out to a peer, a friend, and then gain their attention and do some kind of interaction that they do together, that they maintain each other's attention in order to accomplish a game, a play activity. And this is really the foundation of friendship skills. So the first thing I wanted to talk with you about is what's called the magic of four. Research says that if a child is able to have a back and forth interaction with another child that takes at least 4 turns, that child is more likely to label that other child as a friend. So, what I work with my students on is being able to really practice having that 4 back and forth interactions. So in my classroom, I talk about in order to get a friend's attention, we actually need to physically go up and tap them on the shoulder. So we do a quick tap, tap on the shoulder. So that's, one interaction right there. And then I invite my students to use the other child's name. So they would go up, tap them on the shoulder, and they would say, Caroline. And then once the friend turned and looked at them, then they would use an ask, like, hey, I need to ask you a question. Or they will use an invite, like, hey, will you come play with me? So now we're up to 3 interactions. And then once they either say, yeah, let's go play, or they say, no, thanks, I don't want to play right now, then the child says, thank you, which is sometimes hard, especially if someone says, I don't want to play right now. But if your child is able to kind of carry out that sequence of events, they are using the magic of 4. And because they're interacting with others and kind of using that interaction to build upon one step after another, it really is making them persevere in gaining someone's attention and playing with them. So this is an activity that you can use when you're out playing at a park, is having your child walk up and tap somebody on the shoulder. They might not know their name, but they can say, hey, what's your name? In lieu of knowing their name, and then inviting someone to come play with them and saying thank you when they're done. And the reason that we encourage physical contact in that tap tap is because oftentimes we will have children that get very frustrated at the playground and might end up in tears because they want to play with somebody and they've been calling out their name and that child isn't turning around and giving them their attention. And so there is just a missed opportunity there. So again, just having a kind of a physical contact of that tap really helps the child alert another child that they're trying to get their attention versus yelling at the top of their lungs and the other child not realizing that that's who they're talking to. So to practice these skills kind of over the summer, in your kit today, we have provided you with some conversation cards. And it's kind of an embedded skill. We've put them on like little note cards that your child can use their fine motor skills to punch out, using their fingers to kind of build that dexterity in their fingers. But the conversation cards really are different questions that your child can practice using in play interactions to kind of maintain that attention and that back and forth conversation that's really so important right now. All right. And the last thing that we're going to talk about is helping your child resolve conflicts. And so in kindergarten, we start working on identifying big problems versus little problems. And to simplify it for our purposes today, big problems are things that are dangerous and scary. And whenever we have a big problem that's dangerous or scary, the first thing we do is we go get an adult. So that's that in a nutshell. Little problems are things that are not dangerous. They are not scary. Little problems might be things like I broke my pencil, so and so won't play with me, so and so won't take turns. And when we have little problems, we use this curriculum called Kelso and Kelso's Choices. And this is the little frog that we do lessons with this little frog Kelso, and he helps us develop strategies that when a little problem occurs, there are different ways we can choose or select to solve those little problems. So your child today has a Kelso's Choice wheel in their kit. So I would encourage you to have your child color it and cut it out because that's all fine motor practice. But then also having them use the Kelso's wheel to start exploring ways to solve little problems. And they can practice this with cousins if they have siblings in the home, or if they're on a play date, tuck this into their backpack. And if a problem occurs, encourage your child to pull the Kelso's Choice wheel out and let's try working through some different ways to solve the problem. All right, and then now we're going to talk about school skills. And school skills are the things that your child, if they're able to do, it's kind of those underlying skills. They are going to be much more successful when they start kindergarten. And the school skills that we wanted to talk about today are focus and attention and self-help skills. So when we're talking about focus and attention, that is really your child's ability to be able to attend to a task that might be preferred or not preferred, and carry through and persevere through that task until it's complete or until the end of the activity. So we have Miss Amy Wilcox from Crown Hill Elementary, who is a veteran kindergarten teacher, to lead us through some tips and tricks in developing your child's focus and attention.
Hi, my name is Amy Wilcox. I am one of the kindergarten teachers here at Crown Hill, and we are so excited to see your little ones in the fall. We have a few ideas here for focus and attention, ways to help build that over this summer to help your child be ready in the fall. One of the things you can do is practice sitting and listening to an entire story. These are two of my favorites. The Pigeon Finds a Hot Dog and Pete the Cat. These are fun stories. Pete the Cat has music in it as well, which is a really great way to get kids engaged also. I encourage you to do silly voices, make the reading fun, make it a really special time between you and your child. Kitsap Regional Library also has summer story times, and those are a great way to get some free books, also to meet new friends. So maybe give that a try. Another way that you can help encourage building focus and attention is with coloring. So in kindergarten, when we color, we encourage them to go back and after they colored a picture to add a few details. For instance, maybe they, here I did a bird house in the tree, but maybe I could say, you could add a bird to the birdhouse, or maybe you could add some flowers to the bottom. Some way just to build on to what they already have done. One of the things I also say in our kindergarten class is that however old you are is how many colors you should use in your drawing. So if you're 5, you're going to use 5 different colors of crayon. A lot of times little ones are tempted to just scribble with one color, and we really try to help them build up to at least 5. So that's another thing that you can do. Another fun thing to do is to play card games. Go Fish is a good one. Something age appropriate that your child will have fun with. And board games also, we like in our classroom, is Connect 4. This helps practice taking turns, playing with others, and also an important lesson is okay if you don't win every single time. Those are great. These are great learning tools also. Another thing I like to do, especially here when it's so nice in the summertime, go for a nature walk. Stop, and you could even take a paper and a clipboard with you. Stop and listen carefully for the sounds you hear in nature. There's so much to see and hear and listen to, and the more we pay attention, the more we see. And then you can go home and draw pictures of it and then incorporate that, adding details. Let's see. Another idea is to go ahead and get a timer to help build endurance, or stamina, we call it in kindergarten. And we do this at the beginning of the year to practice our reading stamina. We'll start with a few minutes and then build up every day until we're up to about 7 or 8 minutes at the beginning of the year. So one thing that you could do is just with any activity, puzzles, blocks, Play-Doh, anything that your child enjoys doing. Here's an ABC puzzle. Anything that incorporates letters is really a good idea too, right? Oops, and there goes the puzzle. Well, I'll put that together later. Anyway, so set your timer. Start with maybe 5 minutes, 4 minutes even, and build up as you go. By August, it would be great if your child was able to stay on task for 10 minutes. And let's see. Games like Simon Says, Red Light, Green Light, those are also really fun ways. Duck, Duck, Goose, those are fun ways to build kids' ability to listen for directions and to listen for details and while they're playing a game. And just in closing, focus and attention is a really important piece of kindergarten, and we build it all year long. But the more you make these activities feel like games and like fun, it helps us show our students and the kids that learning is fun. And that's really what it's meant to be. And kids learn an awful lot through play. So we are very excited to have you in our kindergarten at Crown Hill, hopefully in the fall, and encourage you to do lots of fun activities to help your child build focus and attention over the summer. Thanks. Have a great summer.
All right. And then another school skill that we highly encourage you to have your child start practicing before they come to kindergarten is what are called self-help skills. And those are the things that your child can practice doing over the summer to really gain as much independence as possible. And so we have Sam Cameron, the future Crown Hill principal, talking to us about what self-help skills can look like over the summer.
Hi, kindergartners and kindergarten families. My name is Sam Cameron. I'm the new principal at Crown Hill Elementary. And I wanted to talk to you about some things that we can do, some self-help skills that we can start practicing now. So when school starts in the fall, we'll really be able to spend as much time as we can learning, meeting friends, having fun, and we won't spend as much time getting frustrated and asking adults for help. Now, of course, there's always going to be adults around to help, so don't feel like you're going to be left alone. We will always help you. However, few good tricks that you can become an expert in just a little bit of practice would be starting with shoes. So if you can tie your own shoes by the time you come to school, that is wonderful. If you can't tie your own shoes, there'll be adults around to help you. That's fine. What you could also do is start looking at shoes that don't need tying. So maybe shoes that use Velcro, shoes that that just look like they're tied, like these. These actually don't need to be tied. They're just kind of sneaky and they look tied. So you could wear shoes like that. A second thing to start practicing is putting on and taking off a jacket. We use jackets all the time in the Pacific Northwest. Even though it's sunny right now, it's probably going to be raining later today. So it's important that we know how to take off our jacket when it's time to come inside and learn. And if it's raining outside at recess, it's important that we can put on our jacket, which means really practicing kind of threading these two little pieces together and zipping those up. Another thing that we can work on and practice becoming experts in is just opening up some lunch items. Sometimes it's really tricky to get some little Tupperware containers open, to get some straws and juice boxes, and to open Ziploc bags. So if you have any of those items around the house, kindergartners, I'd suggest practicing with that a little bit. So when you're eating your lunch, you don't have to spend as much time asking for help to have these little these containers open or get your juice box open. You can just go right into it. You can enjoy your lunch. You can get that energy you need to learn or get that energy you need to go out and run on the playground with your friends. And the last thing is learning how to use the potty and kind of doing all those steps correctly. So that would mean making sure that when you go to the bathroom, you're removing everything that needs to be removed. You're pulling down your clothes. You're using the potty responsibly. You're pulling up your clothes and making sure you're all ready to go back to class and not forgetting to wash your hands and get all in the crooks and crannies with the soap and clean those off carefully too. So if we can start practicing these skills now, you're going to have so much more time to learn and laugh and connect with students and teachers instead of waiting to have people help you out. And I think that's going to lead to a really wonderful school year. Okay. So kindergartners, I cannot wait to meet you. I cannot wait to help you and help you learn. And I know that together we're also going to become experts in way more than just shoes, jackets, lunch, and bathrooms. Okay. See ya.
And last but not least, we are going to talk about the kit contents that you will be picking up in a couple of days. So everything in this month's kit, your child gets to take home and keep. So we purchased some different books so that that are around social emotional skills, and you can practice reading those over the summer and talking about the different emotions and the different ways that children were solving problems, big problems or small problems. So kind of everything that we've talked about today, and that's the reason we would like you to keep these books, is so that you can practice reading and discussing those concepts over the summer. We have also included a self checklist for your kiddo and a dry erase marker. And those self checklists are the different skills that your child has been practicing with each one of these kits. So research shows that if a child is able to see their own progress, the more progress that they're going to make. So we wanted to include this kind of student-friendly checklist that your child can kind of check off as like, hey, I'm working really hard. I'm getting all these new things under my belt, and I am going to be ready for kindergarten. Like I had said previously, we're including some conversation cards that your child can start practicing using to carry out and maintain a conversation with a friend. And then we're also including this month a parent guide for how to get your child ready for kindergarten. So there are tips and tricks and different ideas that you may have heard in our video series, and some of them you may have not. So that's really just for parents.
And before we leave you for today, we just wanted to go over some reminders as we move into summer. If you haven't already, please make sure to pick up your SEL or your Social Skills Learning Kit. Those are available for all of our incoming kindergartners to help practice the skills and activities we talked about in this video. Then this August, we are going to have a summer jumpstart to kindergarten program. And that is a welcoming activity or welcoming opportunity for our incoming kindergartners that's going to be at the elementary schools. In 2 weeks in August, the students will have the opportunity to get into their school, to start practicing routines, and to learn more about what it is like to be a kindergarten student. So look for information for that if you are interested, and that students can be registered online. And then lastly, in September, our big first day of kindergarten is coming. The exact date will be on the academic calendar that was shared with you in your welcome packet or is available on our website, or you can always reach out to us to get another copy of that. So look for that first day of kindergarten information. And then as we near fall, please watch for information on our website and in your email on back to school events and welcome opportunities at the individual schools for you and your family and your student. And as those are coming out, that is just another reminder that it will be time to start practicing routines and getting prepared at home for you to be on a school schedule with your new kindergarten student. So as we get closer to August and September, it's such an important and great opportunity to practice going to bed at a regular time when they'll need to for school nights, what time they'll need to get up to be able to get ready for school, and start practicing those routines and getting them ready so their body is prepared and it's less of a struggle getting them to bed at night for school. Thank you again so much for watching this video and for engaging with us on ways to help prepare your student for kindergarten. It truly makes all the difference to have parents as partners in this process. And we are so excited to welcome your student into kindergarten. If you have any other questions or would like more follow-up information, please feel free to reach out to Kelsey McCreary, who's our kindergarten transition coordinator, or you can reach out to me, Julie Farrell, at bremertonschools.org. Thanks.